We looked around at churches for about a year before we stumbled into First Frisco, and I kind of equated to almost trying on like new pairs of shoes. They're all awkward, none of them feel good. There's always kind of a break-in period, and when we attended here, it didn't feel that way at all. There was a kind of an easiness to it, almost a familiarity or a comfort, and we didn't have that most other places. It's kind of hard to pinpoint what attributes made us feel that way, but I think a lot of it has to do with congregation. A lovingness, a kindness, a genuine feel to it. But I think a lot of it does come down to leadership and the pastoral staff. Here, I feel like there's an eagerness, there's a motivation and a direction for the church, but it's not in a self-serving capacity. It's in a very selfless manner, and I think that really stuck out to us.
And we both knew that there was something missing, and then one night, after service, it was on our minds, and on the drive home, we said, I'm kind of wanting to look for another church. And the first church we stopped at was First United Methodist Frisco. And we walked through the doors, and I grew up Methodist, and I was so excited by seeing the tall stained glass windows, because I haven't seen the church and all the stained glass windows. I've heard it's beautiful, but we walked in, and it was
His Little Feet.
His Little Feet. And what we were missing was a great children's program for our kids. We had an infant to almost teenager, and we just saw a gap, and we needed a good platform for them, because we can do what we can at home, but we also needed a good church base. I would say for me individually, with the pandemic, it was negative at first and then went positive. And it was negative because just overnight, we went from going to church all the time and loved coming here, and our kids loved coming to the Sunday school class, and we have our church community. And so it was just great to always see everybody and be in the worship and hear the music in person. I mean, nothing is like walking in there and you hear the singers. And then just overnight, there was nothing. It just stopped. And you kind of had a few weeks where you had a pity party and, what's going to happen? And whether it was with school or with church. And we realized together as a family, we need to be creative and be intentional about getting God's word. And for our Sunday school class, we got on Zoom. I don't even think it was like a week later that we had Zoom call, and we made sure, everybody still led, and we were able to get fed that way. And for me, once a week, the ladies from my Sunday school class, we met up on Zoom, and we just talked about what was going on with everybody that week.
Because we're so quick to either look to the Bible for faith, hope, love, but when it comes to money, we generally tend to try to have our own examples or our own ideas, and we try to carry out our own wishes. And so when you look from a stewardship model, it's, once you realize that the money that you earn is based off of resources that God has given you, it's easy for you to give that back, because it's really not yours to begin with.
We're at a point in our life where we can give back financially, and for us, we kind of see it as, it's almost like a three-part thing. We see it as a kind of a thank you for what we have been through when we were growing up in the church. So it's, a kind of this gratitude of, we're so thankful that we had a place to be, and that we had people that were around, that cared for us, that we knew were looking out for us, that were going to help us in our journey. We also see it as what's going on right now. Thank you for the ministries that are happening at this moment for us and for our children, as well as ministries for our community in Frisco itself and beyond. But we also recognize that there are going to be people that are coming later, people that maybe will be in the same place that we were, where they won't be able to give financially. And we want this building, this church, these ministries that we have now to continue, so that those people can benefit as well. And so